Okay, we're moving on to step 2 of the Signature Strengths Profile, looking at beliefs. So as we've already said, beliefs are our conscious and unconscious perceptions of how the world operates. And when you think about it, there's a lot of people today that are talking about mindsets, having positive mindsets. And the more positive our mindset, the more effective we can be. And there's a lot of truth in that. What most people aren't talking about is, where do our beliefs come from? How do we establish these conscious and unconscious belief systems that drive our lives? So I've created a model that looks at the origin of behavior. And I want to walk you through that so that you have an understanding of the origins of your beliefs. So the steps in the formation of beliefs go way back to the experiences that we have. You think about it, if you have positive experiences around a particular topic, then your beliefs about that will be positive. If you have negative experiences, that it will be negative. So let's just take a simple example. Let's say you're 4 years old and your family adopts a puppy, and that puppy comes in and just adores you. It follows you around, it takes care of you, it licks your face, it's constantly trying to snuggle up to you. And at 4 years old then, your first experience with puppies, you form a belief that puppies are your best friend. Puppies are awesome. Puppies are great. On the other hand, let's say that your family adopts a puppy into your family, but that puppy had come from a less ideal environment, maybe got harmed. That puppy's hesitant. Maybe that puppy is possessive of their territory, and they push you over. Let's say that they nip at you. Let's say that they bark at you. So your first impression, based on your experience, is that puppies are not your best friend. Puppies are dangerous. Puppies are possibly not safe. Throughout life, we continually have experiences that then shape the beliefs that we have. And I know that was a simple example, but when you look at experiences upon experience upon experience, that you can see how beliefs get shaped based on those experiences. And once we have experiences, then our thoughts flow from those experiences. So the next time we see a puppy, the thought gets formulated as either positive or negative based on that belief we established that was predicated on the experience that we had. And then the next step is our feelings emote from our thoughts. We don't have feelings that come out of nowhere. The feelings are always a result of thoughts that have been shaped. And so our feelings, positive or negative, will form. And then we will act upon those feelings. That accumulated set of experiences, beliefs, thoughts, feelings now will be the impetus for our actions. So let's give an example of what this looks like in a work environment. You think about, let's say that you're brand new into the organization, and you just gave a presentation in a staff meeting, and you already felt pretty uncomfortable about public speaking, like many people do. But at the end of it, your manager comes up and said, "Your performance embarrassed me." So what do you think that you're going to believe about your ability to present? Most of us would come up with something like, "Yep, I just knew it. I am a terrible presenter." So 1 month later, your manager asks you to fill in for him or her as to give an update to the senior staff on a project that's behind schedule. So what are you probably thinking at this point about the presentation? Most of us are probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, I wish it was the weekend. I don't want to do this. I'm going to fail again. This is going to be awful." So what are you probably feeling? Most of us are probably feeling very anxious at this point. our heart's racing. And then let's say that in the meeting itself, a senior VP asks you a question and it throws you for a loop. You're not sure what the answer is. So you stammer out some type of response that probably doesn't make as much sense because you are afraid, you're anxious, and your mind's not working in its full capacity because the anxiety is blocking your thoughts. So what happens now? You're saying to yourself, yep, it turned out just as awful as I thought it was going to be, right? So when we think about our belief system and we're trying to identify mindsets, it's really important to be able to go backward to be able to understand what our mindsets are. So we'll start with what are the actions that we're taking. In this case, the prior example, the person wasn't able to articulate a good response to a question because anxiety was getting in the way, right? So the action was to flounder in the presentation. What were the emotions the person was feeling? Well, it was anxiety. What were the thoughts prior to that? I'm going to fail. This isn't going to work out right. What's the belief system in front of that? I'm not a good presenter. So oftentimes, most of the time, whatever belief we hold is going to flow right through into the behaviors that we exemplify or manifest in our work and in our life. So it's very important for us to be able to go back and identify what are the beliefs that we have and to formulate the powerful beliefs that we truly have. I'm not one for this positive thinking, like if we think it enough and we just say it enough that it's going to come true. I think that there's some truth in that, but the reality is that our beliefs are our beliefs, and some of them are unconscious, some of them are conscious beliefs. The unconscious ones are the ones that are difficult to unravel and unbury and be able to discover for ourselves. And in what I just showed you in walking it backward is one of the best techniques that I've found in order for us to be able to identify what our beliefs are so that we can interact most favorably in the world. So let me give you an example, a personal example of a belief that I was able to discover and convert into a more positive, powerful belief based on this exercise, this ability to work backward to find that belief. So when I was young, I grew up in a family where we didn't have a lot of extras. We were fine. We had love in our family. We had a lot of fun. We had some activities. I was a swimmer growing up, so there was a lot of activity around that. So we weren't devastatingly poor, but we didn't have a lot of extras. And so as a result, I came into adulthood with the mentality that there was never enough, from a financial perspective, that we always had to cut corners and we had to be aware of every penny that was being spent. And so in this exercise of moving backward, I was able to discover that not enough mentality. I had another set of thoughts that in the world there is enough, that there is a mentality of abundance, that if everybody in the world were operating out of a sense of generosity and community, that there certainly would be enough. And so I was forced to really look at these two belief systems. One, the experiences that I had, and two, which was really thoughts and not yet beliefs. They were thoughts about what's ideal, what could be, but they weren't shaping my behaviors because this other belief was at a deeper core. And when I was able to go through this exercise and identify that I was operating from this not enough mentality, but that ideally it would be a more powerful opportunity to see the world from a more abundant perspective, then I was able to reshape this belief and be able to operate from a perspective of abundance rather than scarcity. So if you can imagine going down this road, on one side, not enough, having to protect, being fearful, always having to watch out for every investment that was made. It's a real scarcity, and the action that's taken as a result is a scarcity mentality kind of behavior, versus this new belief, which is, hey, there is abundance in the world, there is generosity. The more that people are generous with each other, the more abundance that there is. And therefore, we can steward things from a more positive perspective. They're two way different sets of operating procedures that end up with very different results. And that's why identifying these belief systems is so important. To further diagnose those two paths that I was on, the first path is a limiting belief. It really curtails our potential, and it diminishes our power in the world. The second belief system is a powerful mindset. It's a mindset that releases us. It gives us freedom. It gives us opportunity to be successful and to work in a more triumphant way. It actually catapults us into a different dimension of triumph. So let me give you two examples of mindset changes that I'm aware of right off the top of my head. One of them is John F. Kennedy, when he started to believe that we could put somebody on the moon, right? And that belief and the influence that he had enabled us to actually do it. The other example I want to share with you is a sports example. Most of you know that Roger Bannister in 1954 was able to finally break the 4-minute mile. And before that, it had never been done. But as soon as he broke that mile marker, many more people were able to also break the mile marker. And what is that? That is really a reflection of mindset. If we believe it's possible, we can do it. If we believe it's impossible, we never will. So as I said, identifying beliefs is often very difficult to do. So what I'd like to do to help you in beginning the journey of identifying your powerful beliefs is to provide you with a set of questions, and then I'm going to provide you with a set of beliefs so that you can comb through them and see if anything resonates with you. The questions around our identifying beliefs are things like this. What do I believe about me? What do I believe about others? What do I believe about relationships, conflict, family, success, business, work ethic, accountability, leadership, career growth, spirituality, the world? What do I think is right? What are my perspectives on these important concepts? So on your screen now, you see a set of powerful beliefs that actually facilitate good in your life. They're things like, you can read through them, but I'll just pick out a few. I'm good enough. I can have a dream. I don't give up. I'm persistent. My life matters. I'm resourceful. Adventure is critical. This next screen shows you some actual powerful beliefs that people I've worked with have identified. You can read through these bullet points and see if anything resonates with you or triggers you about powerful beliefs that you have that have helped you to be successful in your work, in your family, in your relationships, and in your life. Now, before you record your powerful beliefs on your signature strengths profile, I just want to take a second for us to look at the opposite of our powerful beliefs and to be thinking about what are some of your limiting beliefs. So again, on the screen, you'll see some limiting beliefs that you can take a look at, see if any of them resonate with you. So as you go through your life in the next month, be particularly cognizant of what are the actions that you're taking. Okay. What feelings did you have prior to that action? What are the thoughts that you had that triggered those emotions? And then dig down deeper. What are the beliefs that help to shape those thoughts? When you can uncover limiting beliefs that are not helping you, that are distorting the way that you see the world, then you can convert those into the powerful beliefs, like I did around the finances. If you don't convert them, it's almost like you're walking around with a funnel on your head, right? Beliefs are so powerful that we start to perceive everything that happens in the world around those beliefs, right? So in the example of the puppy, the next time a puppy comes up, we're going to have a set of beliefs about puppies that are going to bias how we see the world. None of us actually sees the world for what it is. We see it based on the bias that we have, that were formulated by the beliefs that we hold. And so that's why it's so important for us to continually work toward understanding the positive beliefs, the powerful beliefs that can move our life forward, and to eliminate the limiting beliefs that are distorting the way that we see the world. Just remember, it's our inner game that dictates our outer game. Okay, now get out your signature blueprint profile and record your powerful beliefs, the ones that are helping you to be successful in life, under the guiding beliefs section of the profile.